So the Season 3 rebuild was a go, and we started off with staff, and you can see how brutal I've been. No decision made means I'm going to release them. I'm releasing well over 50% of the current staff team. I have decided to keep fitness coach Mauro Franzetti, mostly because he looks like Better Call Saul. As far as the team goes, there's a couple of key positions that we're going to need to improve. Obviously, first off, we need a new goalkeeper because Rizzo does leave the club, and I'm looking yet again for another central defender to play alongside the two chosen ones of Collina and Di Marino. Higher up the pitch, we're pretty limited if we're going to keep this formation because these three are now chosen one players, so they have to start every match. And bringing in players is going to be a bit of a problem as we continue to hemorrhage money. We're now £2 million in debt, which is a big worry because with teams chasing players like Collina, it may be taken out of our hands if the board want to take the money. Our first season in Serie B, and it's going to be a big task. As you can see from the pre-season odds, you'll find us down at 350 to 1, predicted to finish bottom by a good margin. So how did we go about improving the squad? We had nothing to spend, literally nothing. We managed to bring in a good 6 or 7 players, spending a big fat zero. So when I was looking to improve this squad, it was the attribute range we talked about in episode 1 of this story. Now we're in Serie B, we're looking for attributes, key attributes between 12 and 15. This led to our first signing of left wing back Jan Oliveras, who has been released by Roma. He looks like a player with great potential in that left wing slot. The next free transfer was Matteo Della Morta, released by Benevento. He's right on the brink of the attributes we need. Lots of 13s, 12s, 14s. A good all-round player who can provide good backup to the chosen one front line. I had a desperate search for a goalkeeper. I could not find one until right late in the transfer window, and Alberto Paleri comes in. He's been a backup for big teams like Torino. He'll do for this season. Not spectacular, but solid. Now, the first big key signing was a new centre-back, Juan Cruz Guason, who comes in from Sarmiento, and he could be a key player. He's already ranked as our best central defender. Our only loan signing next, Adam Bakun, comes in from Roma as a right wing back. He starts actually at our rivals AC Milan, so good little backstory there. But he's a right wing back at 6'5". We also beefed out the squad with a couple of squad player signings, literally backups just to beef up the squad. And as usual, after listening to you guys, I've made a decision on some of the youth players. They are still in the first team squad, but we're sending them out on loan. Giovanni Agresta's got a full season loan in Serie D. I'm hoping he plays a lot. He's only 17, so let's keep an eye on his attributes. Now, Elton Sulaj has gone back on loan to Albania. He's had a great start there, and look at those attributes rising. We've got serious attribute growth coming in here. It looks like the right move already. I toyed with this one, but I have sent Pelagata out on loan to Serie C. He's going to play every match there, and again, attributes storming up. Now, with the financial problems we do have, we literally can't spend any money. That decision to send those boys out on loan means our squad is really tight. We've got our first 11 and we've got our bench, and that's it. That's all we've got to play with. It's very, very tough. You can see why we're ranked as bottom of the league in terms of predictions. But I do think this man will be the key signing. You can already see his value is 1.4 to 1.9 million. He's definitely a class above what we've got. He's got a jumping reach of 17. You add that to 6'4", he's going to be a threat from corners. I wanted to put my own stamp on my coaching team, and that's exactly what I've done. I've got a new assistant manager in Ragnar Sigurdsson, solid. Shea Given comes in as our goalkeeping coach. We've got Shivu as well, who can focus on the defensive side of the game, and Alberto Aquilani, who's just a good all-round coach. So tactically, because this tactic did so well last season, it makes sense to stick with it, and this is where this gets a little bit tough. With Rizzo going out, we saw Moretti is now the new chosen one, but for Serie B, it's probably too early for him. He's only 17, but he's got to play every match now. And this is why this save is so tough, because if we don't get going well, start well with this formation, those three have to play. So we might have to think of a plan B, which helps us get a non-chosen ones player into an attacking slot. Possibly a 4-2-4, possibly a 4-2-3-1. Our Serie B journey started with an away game against Cremonese. This was really harsh as we lost to a set piece and a penalty. And if you look at the match stats, we definitely deserve more. However, in the next match, our first home game against Entella, we performed really well. Moretti with the assist for Condella. He scored 2 in this match, including this wonder free kick. With our new set piece for Guason scoring from a corner, we got a 3-1 win. But then the harsh realities of Serie B hit us again when we played really well away to Cosenza and lost 3-2. So Condella has started the season fantastically, scoring 3 and 3. He's going to be so important this season. So as far as the plan B goes, I'm going to rule out the tactic we used in season 1. So plan A will be this, and I've got a couple of thoughts about plan B. The first one is potentially moving Moretti and Condella into strikers, so free up front, and then drop into a strictly counter-attacking game. And the next one is completely ripping the script up. Losing the three at the back, which would enable us to move Marino to left back and having a centre-back pairing of Collina and Guasson, dropping the right wing back to right back, having a solid back four. What this will do is, we could have the two central midfielders, then this position here would become available to be an extra attacking midfielder perhaps, or even an extra striker, meaning we can bring someone in who's not a chosen one player to help us get some goals. Because remember, Moretti, Ruticolano, Condello, Yaya, Collina and Di Marino have to start. This is where the save stipulation starts to get a bit tricky when we start getting ahead of the progress of some of our players. Moretti's going to be a great player. He's not ready yet. Now, if someone was to take Collina from us, for example, we're going to have to recall centre-back Agresta, who is nowhere near ready. In fact, I think he's just valued at a Serie C. And that's where this save will get really, really tough. But after 3 matches, we're sitting in 10th place. Obviously, the only object of this season is to survive. Somehow survive, but you can always have a little eye on ambition. And this is the rules of Serie B for people who are not familiar with Italian football. Your top two automatically promoted to Serie A. Third place is pretty funky. You can see it says promoted to Serie A or playoff, and this is why. You get up to Serie A if more than 14 points separate you from 4th position. So basically, if you absolutely earn it and deserve to go up, you're going to go up. If not, you will drop into the playoffs. Alongside 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. So the top 8 gives you a chance of getting promoted to Serie A. What we need to worry about probably though, more likely this season, is here. Bottom 3 straight up relegated back to Serie C, which would be a disaster for us, both financially and basically for team morale. Then you've got the playouts here. Similar story here. If fewer than 5 points separate 16th and 17th, you go to a playout, but you go automatically down if it's 4 points. It's complicated, but in a weird way, I think it kind of makes sense. It makes sense in the 3rd place one. I kind of like. Remember all the championship teams in England who nearly get promoted in that top 2, then they go into the playoffs and they always get knocked out. They're very rarely the 3rd place team in the championship in England gets promoted to the Premier League. So that kind of guards you against it if you deserve it. Quite like it. Our big problem here is we can't really bring anyone in. We might be able to push to bring one player in on a free transfer, especially with that plan B in mind. There is an absolute truckload of free transfers available. Like, if we had some money, the side we could build with free transfers is crazy. For example, the couple of scouts I do have working have found all these players. Now, these guys are on free transfers. The first one is Romario Beiro. Look at that. I mean, what a central midfielder he would be, given his great versatility, and he's just a class above. You've also got someone like Juan Artola. Again, he can play across the forward positions. There's players there available on free transfers. We just can't afford them. So back to our youth setup, that's going to be where we find most of our players. And the good news is Diarico is now 17. He's eligible for a pro contract. We'll give him that. We'll try and get him out on loan. His physicals are through the roof. He's going to be a baller. It's pretty obvious we're going to have a long, hard season. A long, hard season. If you look at it, one of our star men from last season, remember he scored 30 goals last season. He's only ranked as a leading Serie C player. That's our squad. We are Serie C. A long season awaits.